Oh, yeah.
Stickball Sports! What is going on, guys? Well, I hope everybody had a great time at the draft, and I thought it was a fabulous draft by us. I think I wanted to get everybody's thoughts, what you guys thought of it. From 1 to 7, I think Gettleman did a fabulous job, really getting tremendous value, and what do you know it? He surprised us with the first pick. I think everybody was guessing, as always, but I think we thought we were either getting Simmons, Wirfs, or Wills. He sure as hell fooled me. So, bottom line is, it was a great draft. I really felt like we filled a ton of holes, and we're going to go over it right now. It's a lot to be excited about, so let's do it.
That was awesome! Yes!
All right, guys, let's talk about our first overall pick. The draft went pretty much as we thought it was going to go, right? We had Burrow go first to the Bengals, who haven't had a quarterback, feels like forever. Probably a solid QB since Carson Palmer. Then we went to the Washington Redskins, selected Chase Young, which we'll talk about that another day and how much of a nightmare that's going to be dealing with for the next 10 years. And third, Detroit. This scared me because they can go anywhere. And they pretty much went cornerback, which they pretty much did exactly what people said they were going to do. And picked up Jeff Okudua, or however you pronounce his name. I'm just going to Okudua. Okay, I'm going with it. Anyways, so we got to us at 4. Now I thought we were either going to maybe trade back, we were going to trade the pick, we maybe got some multiple picks, but obviously we needed a trading partner, and I thought that this was going to be a tough sell because a lot of people knew we weren't going quarterback, and if we didn't have another person trying to trade up for that pick, we weren't going to get anywhere because they knew that we still are going to probably get one of our guys. We had a couple of them, but I really felt like Andrew Thomas through this entire draft. They told us at the beginning of the season he was the best offensive lineman. At the end of the season, I remember people doing mock drafts literally before the national championship game, and he was the second or third best overall prospect in the draft. I heard Chase Young, I heard Burrow, and I heard Thomas. So pretty much nothing's changed except smoke. A lot of these guys, a bunch of talking heads. We hear them on ESPN. We hear them everywhere else. So with all that said, let's break down Andrew Thomas. Let's see what the Giants think of him. We're going to pick this up from Giants.com and see what they think of him.
Thomas is a player.
Yeah, Bob, Andrew Thomas on film, he was one of the most impressive tackles in this entire draft. When I watched him, I couldn't believe how good his feet were. I couldn't believe how good his hands and his punch were. Then he goes to the combine and he's got the longest arms out of this entire tackle group. So he's got what I call go-go gadget arms. That's what you want as a tackler. He's really good with his punches. Now, he's a left tackle, but when you look at him early on in his career, he started as a true freshman at right tackle. So he can play both. Now, I think what impresses me the most about his athletic ability is it transfers into power in the run game. A lot of times you see guys that can pass block, they look really good, they're smooth, they end up being finesse players. Not Andrew Thomas. He loves to get downfield. He loves on the second level, mowing down linebackers, running after DBs. He's a good finisher up front. The line of scrimmage, great movement at the point of attack, great with combo blocks. So I really like Andrew Thomas. You think back to the Patriots, right? Last year, who did they end up drafting? Isaiah Wynn. Oh, another Georgia Bulldog. David Andrews, their center. Oh, a Georgia Bulldog. Oh, how about the running back? All right, the number 7. They end up drafting him. So there's a Georgia pipeline in there somewhere. Joe Judge clearly has a nice connection.
Yeah, and we'll see exactly where the Giants slot him in. But a big pickup for the Giants is they.
pretty much exactly what the doctor ordered. I'm really excited about Thomas, but I want to get on to our second round pick, Xavier McKinney, our 36th overall pick in the second round. He is an absolute stud, and he comes from Alabama. Xavier McKinney was the number 1 rated safety in this draft. So somehow, some way, he slid, and we were able to pick him up in the second round. It reminds me a lot of Landon Collins when we were able to get him move up in the second round and grab him. But he has a skill set that we're all going to love. Number 1, he is a ball hawk. He is a cover safety, and he also has ball skills, and he likes to hit. This kid has the entire package, and I'm going to break it down real quick. I want to show you some things that people were talking about. Our pick, 36 overall, Xavier McKinney. Here it is.
They're going with the safety, Xavier McKinney.
Looking for a do-it-all threat to patrol your secondary? Enter former Alabama safety Xavier McKinney. The 2018 Orange Bowl MVP had an even more impressive campaign in 2019, contributing in all phases.
Watch me take control.
McKinney has great coverage skills. He can get to the quarterback and is a threat to take it to the house anytime he gets his hands on the ball. In a league where offenses continue to look for mismatches, McKinney is adept at covering all skill position players. McKinney has the type of supreme versatility that should suit him well in the National Football League.
All right, the first official safety, though, Isaiah Simmons, listed as a linebacker on CBSSports.com, likely to play safety in the NFL. What do you think of this pick by the New York Giants?
Well, he was one of the best, overall available players, but I also think he's the best safety at this point. And when you look at his game, I think the thing that stands out is in a day and age where you really have to be able to cover, not only in zone coverage, but also in man-to-man at the safety spot. It's one of the reasons why I think teams try to get away from taking some of the safeties that can't cover. And they're primarily box guys or guys that are going to play the deep middle or deep half of the field. Xavier McKinney can do it all.
And if that doesn't get you fired up, listen to my man Acho about Xavier McKinney. This guy is a beast.
Congratulations, you just got yourself the next great Alabama safety product, Xavier McKinney, at the top of the screen. Watch his hips, watch his range. This is what I love. They try to trick him, run the all-go special. They sneak the H-back out of the backfield to the far hash. You got this receiver screaming down the near hash. Xavier McKinney, he's in a bind. Who does he guard? You know what? He'll just guard both. Quick hip swivel, interception, Xavier McKinney. But now I want to know, my safeties, you got range, but how are you in the box? Xavier McKinney, biggest game of the season. They're trailing, but he's still wearing his heart on his sleeve. Blitzing safety, dips his hip inside shoulder, sack, force fumble, big turnover for his team. If you get Xavier McKinney, you get a beast. Xavier McKinney, welcome to the
All right, guys. So here we're at, right? We're on to the third round. Really happy with McKinney. It's going to be a great pick. Now we're on to the third round. Now we had a huge gap here. Huge gap. The gap was 36 to 99. In the middle there, we had a pick that we gave away to the Jets for Leonard Williams. So that was part of the Leonard Williams trade. But again, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of, obviously the draft. What could we have done better? Any ideas? What do you guys think about the picks that we're picking up? But we go with Matt Parrott out of UConn. Matt Parrott is a project offensive lineman. And what I mean by that, he is very young, he's very raw. But he reminds me so much of Will Beatty out of the same school. He even mentioned him when he was talking to Giants.com, saying that he kind of looks up to him. And he's kind of following the same road and the same path as Will Beatty. So it's pretty interesting that Will Beatty was a fixture on our line and an All-Pro for a long time. So we pick up Matt Parrott, UConn, offensive lineman. This guy is going to be a tackle, so I think when we move Solder out next year, when we can cut him or release him, and it's not going to turn our cap into a monster, that'll happen, and see if he's ready. Because the perfect thing would be to move now Thomas from the right side to the left side when Solder leaves. Or Solder just plays really well, and then we got some competition on our hands. But Parrott looks really promising. He was a Good kid, good pick. Everybody was pretty up, was thumbs up on this pick. So here we go. Matt Peart, 99th overall.
Football until he was in high school in Massachusetts, and he has wound up being a first-time all-conference selection in the American. 6'6", 318 pounds, and here is Pearty and the highlight tape for the Huskies.
Well, and one thing that general manager David Gettleman has said is he wants to fix this offensive line once and for all. If you've watched the New York Giants in drafts in the last 10 years, they've had a lot of misses, especially early in those drafts. So now you go out and you get Andrew Thomas from Georgia, you get Pearty from UConn, a big athletic right tackle, and you're trying to now build a fence and a wall around Daniel Jones, and you've got Saquon Barkley at running back. You know, you think back to those Super Bowl winning New York Giant teams in 2007 and 2011. They arguably had the best offensive line in the National Football League. And I think if the Giants are going to get back to those winning ways, they have to shore up front. David Gettleman really trying to make that.
All right, big boy Matt Peart on the premises. Nice to have a big boy like that around. I really like what Gettleman's doing, really solidifying this line. We had to do this for years, guys. For years, we complained about we can't win at the line of scrimmage. We just couldn't do it. We were worst in the entire league for years in ball possession. That's because we can't control the line of scrimmage. We have a Porsche of a running back, but we can't use him effectively. So just imagine, just think to yourself, imagine what Barkley's going to do with holes. Think about that. He's done all of this with the worst offensive line ever created, it feels like. Just imagine if you gave him an average line, what he could do. It's going to be exciting. And I'm really liking what they're doing. So with the fourth pick, we picked up at 110, Darnay Holmes. This kid I like a lot. Another pick that I feel has a real high upside. Real smart kid. He graduated in 2.5 years from UCLA. 2.5 years. So that tells you alone that he's a smart kid. He's also had 8 interceptions in 3 years. The kid can play. He's got a real high upside. I really like him a lot. I think it's going to look very well. Our secondary now is pretty set. We have Beal. We have DeAndre Baker, and then obviously Bradbury, and now you're going to throw Love and him into the mix, and I really like him. I mean, there's a lot to like about this player. Alright guys, I'm going to try and speed this up for you a little bit. I don't want this to be like a 20-30 minute video, so here we go. I'm going to run it down for you real quick. Alright guys, nice draft so far. We got our cornerback, we got 2 offensive linemen, and we have a safety that is probably the best safety in the draft so far. So in round 5, pick 150. This shocked me a little bit. I know we were looking for a center, and all the centers that I knew we wanted were off the board. Like Badish, he was gone. So there was kind of a run on them. So at this point, I kind of expected us either to go linebacker, but we went with Shane Lemieux, guard, Oregon. Yup, we picked a guard, another offensive lineman. I really like this pick, and what people weren't talking about when he was drafted on the telecast was that Lemieux has played some time at center.
Shane, congratulations. Welcome to the Giants. What was it like? Where were you when you got the phone call from New York?
Man, I've been in Arizona, in Chandler, Arizona for the past 4 months, just training, and family came down here, fortunate enough to have them here, and just waiting for my name to be called. And I got the phone call right before my name went up, and I was ecstatic. Sitting on my couch with my whole family, and they all got to kind of embrace me. So that was pretty cool.
Do you ever remember what they said to you on the phone and who you talked to, or is it just a big blur?
I talked to everybody. I talked to coach. I talked to the O-line coach. Talked to the GM. Talked to assistant head coach. It was a bunch of names, bunch of numbers, and a 10-minute span. So,
Shane, how much contact did you have with the Giants leading up to the draft, and did you expect that they were a team that could be heavily interested in you?
Yeah, I talked to them briefly at the combine, an informal meeting. I know my head coach at Oregon, Coach Cristobal, had a really good relationship with the entire staff. And a couple days ago, my agent talked to the Giants. So I didn't have a bunch of like communication with them, but I know everyone around me did. So that was kind of a surprise, but at the same time, like in the back of my mind, I saw them coming up. Especially, I know how much they love offensive linemen in the draft. That I could be an option there.
Yeah, Coach Cristobal did coach at Alabama, so there's a connection with Joe Judge. What kind of ship did he run, and you think that's going to kind of get you prepared for what you're going to deal with in terms of the regimen you're going to have in New York with Coach Judge?
Yeah, Coach Cristobal is a really demanding coach. I've been coached really hard in my career by him, and he's a father figure to me, and I don't think I've ever had a relationship with a coach like him on that level. And I think he's pushed me to be really great. He, as soon as he got here, he kind of instilled kind of a mantra of toughness and physicality, and that's kind of how our program was ran. And I think, I'm the toughest person in this draft, toughest offensive lineman in this draft, and I put it on tape. And I think that's, big credit to his coaching style. I can't wait to go to a similar coached team.
Well, given your answer you just gave, I think I know what you're going to say, but I'll ask it to you anyway. For fans that maybe haven't seen you play in college, how would you describe your game and how you approach it?
Toughness and physical. I think I'm a tone setter, and I like burying guys in the ground, and I like drive blocking people, and I like protecting quarterbacks.
Now, I was reading that you didn't start playing offensive line until your sophomore year in high school. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I was a tight end before that.
I love this guy already. This kid, Shane Lemieux, I just love him. He's got Giant written all over him. I think New York's going to absolutely adore this kid and look for him possibly to be the center this year, taking snaps. So, with that, round 6, we went pick 183, Cam Brown, outside linebacker, Penn State. Will really focus on Brown. He brings length and speed from the linebacker position. So, Brown had about 10 passes defended in the past 2 seasons. With outside linebacker, one more of the troubling positions on the roster. It was worth finding a player like this guy. So I'm really, really high on him. I think he could really turn into something. And obviously we have that Penn State connection as well. So I'm sure Saquon won't have any problems with that. Now at round 7, 218, we took another linebacker, Carter Coughlin. This pick was definitely an A+ in my eyes. Coughlin really has had a really strong combine. He's not especially long. He's not known for his coverage. He's just not a natural outside linebacker. But the Giants kind of seem to be trying to strike for gold, like with pass rushers at the end of the draft here. I mean, it's not the most ideal philosophy, but they picked a bunch of them, and I'm thinking they're saying to themselves, we have to at least hit on one of them. God forbid they hit on a few of them. And that's what it seems like they did. Because they're looking for a contributor, and Coughlin might be that. He really produced in the Big Ten. And another pick after he was picked at 218, their other 7th round draft pick is now at 238. And that one was TJ Brunson. Now, guys, mostly 7th round draft picks, they're lucky if they make the roster. Obviously they're going to be giving every chance because they were drafted players. But there really isn't a big difference from 7th round draft picks to free agents. Really, they got people that are drafted really at the end of the draft, they're kind of screwed because they're kind of lumped up into a non-guaranteed tryout and a non-guaranteed money where it's very, very low too. Guys that are free agents can say, yeah, well, you can give me $50,000 to come, to your tryout. They can do that because they're unrestricted free agents. And teams, if they like them, usually the number's 30,000. But if they like them more enough, they'll fork over the money for the tryout. So anyway, TJ Brunson, linebacker, South Carolina, 238. It's pretty interesting. Brunson's just a small linebacker at 6 foot, 230 pounds. He's got some lack of discipline in his game. He had 4 personal fouls and an unsportsmanlike penalty in 2019. He's a hothead. I like it. I like those type of players. I like players that play with passion. It seems like an out-of-character pick for the Giants because they don't usually pick guys like this. And that's why I kind of like it. And maybe they see something different in Brunson. He had no sacks in 2019, but this might be Judge's special teams background kind of looking at this player. Anyway, TJ Brunson, 238, South Carolina. We have 2 picks left. I like this young fella. In the 7th round. He's a young defensive back. He kind of, the kind of defensive back's going to get a little bit younger because he's a real youngster. And if kind of Williamson's just a really nice back. I really like him. He was really used as the big nickel in Minnesota, sometimes serving as like a linebacker on passing downs. He started just 10 games. Not a lot to go on, but he was he started 9 as a senior for the Gophers. Again, special teams is going to be a big look on a 7th round draft pick to earn a spot on the roster as a rookie. If not, he's going to be looking probably as a practice squad player. That's what a lot of these 7th round draft picks will be looking at unless they are to make their mark. Now, the last pick in the draft came to us. That is round 7, number 155. And believe it or not, this is a player that could actually make the team. Tay Crowder. A lot of people like this guy. Even on ESPN, they were talking really highly of him. I like him. I think he's a good player. He's another linebacker. Now, he's an inside. This time he's an inside linebacker. So Crowder's going to provide immediate competition to the unit. He finished 2nd on a strong Georgia defense with 62 total stops. Now, keep in mind, that defense was lights out. I watch a lot of college football, and that defense was lights out on Georgia. Their linebacking crew is notorious for just getting to the passer and creating havoc. And he plays in a top conference. But still, he just wasn't invited to the combine. And that kind of hurt his status. I kind of feel like if Crowder was invited to the combine, I think he would have fell into the 3rd or 4th round. I might be crazy saying that, but I really felt like he would have probably fell there just based on everything that I say. Pretty much he's just going to have he's going to have the forever tag as Mr. Irrelevant of this 220 draft, but he's got it. He's the last pick, so we'll see what happens here. Number 255, Tay Crowder. I love the underdog. I love to see him try and make the team. Anyway, guys, I'm sorry the video went this long, 20 minutes. I wasn't planning on it, but I hoped I gave you some good breakdown from a fan's perspective, what you guys think. Give me all the feedback. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like about the Giants draft. And what do you think we need going forward? What do you think else we need to start looking at? I know that we're probably going to have to look at probably an edge rusher here. I mean, maybe Clowney? I don't know. I don't know where to go right now. 2020 draft is over. No more mock drafts. No more talking heads. It's just strictly football. Hopefully we can get back to our winning ways here as being Giant fans and and have a lot to scream about this year. So, with that said, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, throw me a couple thumbs up, I like those. And in the comments, definitely tell me what you think. Do you think the Giants made the right moves in this offseason? Did we draft the right guys? Tell me what you think. Give me your thoughts of things maybe we should do. All right? I always like to hear feedback. So, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, please subscribe or give me a thumbs up. And I'll talk to you soon.